as you can see, Britain moved from democracy to authoritarian state in pernicious veil of secrecy. This article is now 3 years old. In that time, Britain has dramatically moved forward with its intentions to become a Western world's foremost surveillance state, dictatorship basically. And whilst all attention is on Brexit, a recent disclosure in Australia revealed that Britain is to press ahead with forcing all technology companies to provide backdoor access to encryption systems to the state. Everything that was proposed by the government in this article has become law. By 2020, Britain will be classed as a techno-Stasi state because the general public turned a blind eye on and effectively waved through the legislation of authoritarian decrees. I've been telling you for a long time we're in a dictatorship. It's time to stand up, lock them bastards up in Parliament for good. Otherwise, they're going to start executing us, which they already are, but in a slow and meticulous method so far. MI5 to take over in fight against rise of UK right-wing extremists. Now, when they say UK right-wing extremists, they mean those that's seen through the lies and the propaganda and can realise it's a mass invasion funded by Soros, this migration bullshit. So it's not right-wing extremists, it's those that have realised we're in severe danger of being destroyed by a criminal government. MI5 is to take the lead in combating extreme right-wing terrorism amid mounting fears that white supremacists and increasing their efforts to foment violent racial conflict in Britain's streets, The Guardian has learned. And it goes on, it's time to take the country back. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, now. We need to take the country back today. Because it's only going to get worse, as you'll see after the budget. The tide is turning. Big pharma billionaire arrested, charged with conspiracy and bribery of doctors. How much more are we going to put up with the corruption in this country? The UN wants to be our world government by 2030. In other words, a dictatorship. And if they're saying 2030, they mean 2020. This is why the police have no respect from anyone, any member of the general public anymore. Police officer filmed himself mocking a mentally ill woman and sent it to friends on Snapchat. West Midland Police sacked PC Neil Tong following a misconduct hearing. A police officer who filmed himself mocking a mentally ill woman and sent it to friends on Snapchat has been sacked. PC Neil Tong was called to the vulnerable woman's home in Walsall twice. He used his phone to take several videos. These were of a derogatory nature and some showed objects being thrown at her. The Independent Office for Police Conduct said, yeah, about as independent as the banks are from the government. All the Yorkshire communities set to be bulldozed for HS2 development and every road closure and delay. We don't need this shit. New environmental impact assessment have detailed how Yorkshire will be affected by the construction of and operation of the HS2 line, which will run through South and West Yorkshire up to a newly built station in Leeds. Every area set to be demolished for HS2, and there's the graph of it all. We do not need this HS2 bullshit. What we need is everyone in Parliament dragging out and locking up. Then we'll drag the royals out and lock them up, and we'll start putting this country back where it should be, as a decent place to live under common law. Universal Credit ditches fast-track claims for the terminally ill. In other words, if you're dying and you need some money for something, you know, some sort of treatment maybe, or whatever, even a holiday, just so you can live whatever time you've got left in a little bit of peace. And these treasonous bastards in Parliament are stopping that from happening. How much longer are we going to put up with this total and utter corruption? Hospital cremated baby 7 years ago without telling mum. A mum claimed her baby was cremated without her knowledge after she had a medical termination. Victoria McMahon, 37, said she was shocked to find her son Jake Francis was cremated a month after she had the procedure at St Mary's Hospital in Manchester in March 2011. She had been waiting 8 years to bury him because she's a Roman Catholic and against cremation, but when she rang the hospital in February, she was told the bad news. Mrs. McMahon said, "So it has literally broken me. I'm waiting for them to give me my son back so I could lay him to rest. I have been given no place to grieve. It's still not so raw. How I have been treated is not right. It has literally broken my heart. It is diabolical." Now, I suspect there's more behind this than you might first imagine. I suspect the hospital removed organs from the baby before cremating them, because once cremated, there's no way you'd know. That's what I believe went off here. Election Commission head quits amid anti-Brexit bias claims at Watchdog. The Electoral Commission chief, Claire Bassett, has quit amid claims that Watchdog has been biased against Brexit during Mrs Bassett's 3 years in the post. The Commission was criticised for the way it dealt with her accusations of overspending during the EU referendum. The Commission also came under scrutiny from pro-Brexiteers who said the Commission had focused on the wrongdoings of the Leave side. However, allies of Mrs Bassett have said that her exit is not related to the complaints fired at the Commission. She just decided to quit for the sake of it. You know that's a pack of bullshit again. Cancer research to cut funding for scientists who bully colleagues. UK charity cracks down on harassment after recent high-profile accusations. Crook, CRUK, said the policy was promoted by a broader conversation in society about acceptable treatment in the workplace. Britain's largest cancer charity has announced new rules to crack down on bullying and harassment. Crook said, they are a crook, they're nothing but a bunch of crooks. Said scientists who bullied and or harassed colleagues who would face sanctions that could include being prevented from supervising PhD students, losing funding, blah 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 blah. No one should be giving anything to Cancer Research UK or Crook, because they are just a bunch of crooks. There are many cures for cancer, but Crook can't make money out of the stupid if they publicise any cures. Faster speeds and holograms, what to expect from the new 5G network, including death within 10 years, because that is what it's going to do. The new technology being tested in Salford, stay away from Salford, is the network of the future, but what practical uses will it offer? Well, in actual fact, none. It's a murder weapon, and we're allowing it to be used. It'll take 3 to 5 years for the cancers to start coming out, but there'll be cancer of every sort because of the technology that is going to kill us. It is a microwave technology, 1G, just 1G below microwaving. You know when you put something in a microwave, if you're dumb enough to have one of them cancer-causing machines, they microwave your food at 6G, 5G. They are cooking us. Mirror. Football holiday. Hero pilot saved hundreds. Aimed copter away from crowds. Club's owner died in fireball. Exclusive hour brought Huddle back from the dead. I suspect that he was bumped off there. I mean, I've flown smaller microlights, and the checks you do before you even set off are obviously there to make sure you don't crash and nothing fails. A helicopter pilot would do the same, so I strongly suspect there's more dirty goings on here, especially than the papers are going to ever report. The Times. Meet the wildlife vet facing wolves, angry hippos and pet dogs. Lewis Hamilton's 5th F1 title. All schools and A&Es get mental health units. $2 billion budget boost to tackle teen crisis. The picture of the guy that died. Yeah. Cleric must go on anti-extremism course. I'm an extremist. I don't know why I'm doing that accent, probably because I can't do the cleric's accent. Anyway, I believe death to the whites, death to the Christians, death to anyone but Islam. But now I'm on a course which teaches me to love Christians and love Islam and love everyone. But I'm just playing. I'm not really paying any attention. I still hate everyone. Pretty much out go. Support for Johnson. No. Murder charge. The wife of former sales executive from an American IT company has been charged with murder. Clinics pushing IVF. Synagogue victim 97. Investor backs Tesla. United banish blues. The scum. Premcopter horror kills 5. Hero pilot save fans' lives, apparently. Ham. Special 50p off Brexit. Going, Strictly again. Every friggin' day. I gave Hod kiss of life. Steers away from stadium. I. Lewis Hamilton, British driver, draws level with Fangio on 5 world champions. What to expect in today's budget? Well, it's going to cost you money, and then it's going to cost you some more money. Then we're going to pretend to give you some money, but we're going to take it back with our other hand, because that's how the budget works. Pittsburgh victim named 97-year-old woman. The power of peanuts, how a comic strip took over the world. How many pieces of plastic do you throw away each year? Sir Pedo Green, I was only involved in some banter. Oh, and sex. Oh, and yeah, with younger women. And yeah, sometimes young girls. The helicopter went silent, it was spinning out of control, and then there was a big bang. Leicester is mourning as Thai owner of football club, and 4 others die in helicopter tragedy. Fans flocked to stadium to pay tribute to popular owner who brought Premier League success to unfashionable club. The Guardian. Chris Tarrant. I voted Remain. Now I'm a Brexiteer because I realised it's nothing but a controlled dictatorship, so we should be out. How to wake up feeling rested and alert. Hammond budget to give $2 billion extra for mental health services. Pack of lies, you won't see any of that going anywhere near that. Bolsonaro on verge of power as Brazil votes. Synagogue gunman raged about genocide. Club mourns its owner. Crap, blah blah blah. Express. Hammond, 2 billion more for mental health services. That means they're just going to hide 2 billion any way they can, because none of that will go to where it's supposed to going. Because just always recall, whenever a politician's talking, he's lying. Vain battle to save football boss from copter inferno. Diabetes kills 500 each week. Many could be saved by proper care, say experts. Everyone could be saved by proper food. An organic fruit and vegetable diet, and you won't have diabetes. But you lot do what you like. Daily fail. Prince Charles' secret struggle with boys. Bombshell book series. Yeah, well, I tried to turn them into satanic Luciferians, but their mother wouldn't have it, and so I had to bump her off. And once I bumped her off, it was much easier to turn them into a bunch of satanic Luciferian, child-murdering, raping bastards, the book may have said. Miracle more weren't killed. Hero pilot of Leicester Carnage steered stricken helicopter away from crowds before fireball claimed 5 lives. Now, I think they're making something out of nothing here, because from what I can gather it was totally out of control, so he couldn't have steered it anywhere, and the fact it fell like a rock means that that's a pack of lies yet again. But then again, it's in the papers, so you should expect nothing but lies and deceit. Star. High five for Ham. Tragic Fox darkest day. TV heroes hand of Hod. Ace's family thanks Simon. Hollow Dolly. Probably one of them sex dolls that pervert government are pushing. The tell lie graph. Plastic in our food, hidden danger of the dinner table. Boris Johnson, no wonder Dyson's off to Singapore. Hamilton rules, yeah, blah blah. No deal to end austerity. Chancellor warns of Brexit risk to budget as Eurosceptics accuse him of bribing public. You mean the MP are bribing the public? Well, they do that every time there's any election. Every time there's a budget that matters, when there's an election coming up, and they know there's an election coming up because she's not going to last much longer. But they always bribe the public before an election, give them something, secretly taking it back as well, and more. But, you know, what do you expect when you've got a bunch of Satanists running the country? And why do you think there's been 2 world wars? Because we've always had a bunch of Satanists running the planet. Green goes public while gagging order silences accusers. Robert the Bruce was English, says expert. I think that could be controversial. Officers at synagogue shooting chased killer. Everyone in The Simpsons is a stereotype. Merkel in trouble after losses in key state vote. Arsenal run blah blah blah. Metro. Parasite alert. It's nice to knows you. Darkest day, Leicester boss dies. New budget. If there's no deal. It's all over for Sean and Kataya. Strictly again. And Hamilton again. Financial Times. Resistance is futile. Italy cannot escape from Eurozone rules. Yes, it can. It just tears up the document, says, do one. Just like we should. The 72. Repeal it, we're out. Game over. But no, we've got to follow all this bullshit because of the Lisbon Treaty. That's what it's all about. Because it's been planned for a long time. Venezuela's oil giant, state petro company at the heart of country's collapse. Nordic Nor. Banks' trouble tarnish the region's clean business model. Most victims in synagogue were elderly. Hammond to put Brexit at heart of budget that retreats from austerity. Chancellor aims at Eurosceptics push for Chequers backing boost for mental health. As I said, when an MP's mouth, member of paedophiles' mouth is moving, they are lying. Lying and then lying more. Sewing warns douche managers that tie up rumours is no excuse for failure. Vichai tributes as fears rise after helicopter crash.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.